So I've never mentioned this before on the channel, but my first MMO ever was RuneScape, and it holds a lot of nostalgia factor for me. So when Brighter Shores came out, I just had to give it a try. I'll get this out of the way now and say if you like RuneScape, you'll probably like Brighter Shores. It's as simple as that. However, if you're a WoW player that's never played RuneScape before and you're wondering whether or not you should give Brighter Shores a shot, just know that it's a totally different pace of a game from World of Warcraft. So why should you give it a try if you're a veteran WoW player, and is this game going to be worth your time? Well, I made a video a while back calling out how I missed when World of Warcraft was just a game, and I missed the pace of old school WoW back when it was fresh and released in 2004. No one really knew what was going on, there was this sense of exploration, and people were friendly to each other when trying to get around and explore and figure out what to do. In short, the game wasn't figured out yet, the try-hard meta wasn't there yet, and exploration and community was a big part of the experience, and there was a ton of dopamine hits just trying to figure out what was around the corner. Right now, that slower pace, that sense of exploration, and a friendly community is exactly what I'm getting from Brighter Shores. There's no world-ending plot that's driving me forward, and there's nobody or no NPC telling me that I'm doing the wrong thing. I was quickly allowed to stray from the main story path and start grinding out random skills if I wanted to. And I'm having an awesome time just exploring around and learning about the world. I'm actually feeling a little bit more immersed in this game than I originally expected I would. The quest system doesn't have large arrows or regions or glowing objects telling you what to do and where to go. Instead, the quest log tells you generally where to go, and otherwise you actually have to read the quest and inspect the environment to put together the clues in order to solve the quest and progress, and that feels great. To me, it actually feels like how quests felt back in old school RuneScape. The game also doesn't shy away from the fact that it is going to be a grind fest, with some of the earliest quests requiring you to level up a total of 60 times in order to progress at all. Because of this grinding nature, it's not for everyone. But for me, this means that this is a game I can put on in the background while watching a TV show, working on another project, or subscribing to Rotan Warcraft. But in all seriousness, it's really similar to RuneScape in that regard. In fact, I wrote this script while I was grinding out my combat skill, just typing this out in between fights, and that feels pretty good to me. There's also something nostalgic and addicting to me to open up the skill tabs and skill menus and see what I can unlock just by grinding out a few more levels of a particular skill. Like, you can unlock the chef's bounty board at level 9, I wonder what that means, or being able to use my first fishing rod at level 20 fishing, and I'm looking forward to that. Each skill in Brighter Shores is akin to a profession in World of Warcraft, though they definitely feel more in-depth in terms of gameplay than what World of Warcraft currently offers. For example, when you cook in World of Warcraft, you just have the reagents in your inventory, press the cook button next to a fire, and there you are. In Brighter Shores, you actually have to prep the ingredients, like let's first fry the bacon, and then afterwards let's prep it on the table, and voila, a bacon sandwich. Or with alchemy, once again in World of Warcraft you just have the mats, collect the ingredients, and press create. However, in Brighter Shores you need to chop up the herbs, then take them to the station to brew a potion. Sure, it's not the most in-depth, but keep in mind this is actually the first area of the game, so these skills might get more complex as time goes on and more episodes get released. Another positive for this game is that it's free to play, but that does come with a big asterisk, as a lot of the game and a lot of the good features will be in the paid version, and the subscription is $6 a month, with obviously getting a discount for buying multiple months at a time. Though that may turn some people away, this is essentially the exact same monetization model that RuneScape had, where there was a decent chunk of free content, but the real bulk of the content was locked behind a paid membership. However, even the free portion of the game will have hundreds of hours of content, given the pace at which I'm scaling up now, and that definitely feels like RuneScape. The really big difference I see is that player trading is for paid players only, so basically if you don't want to do this whole game solo in terms of collecting and scaling up, it would be best to get the subscription. So I've just spent quite a while singing this game's praises while only having played it for a handful of hours and 3 days now. And to be fair, a lot of that praise comes from nostalgia and being excited about how similar this game is to RuneScape. So before I talk about the bad things, let me just run over here and start a passive job real quick before I log off. Because now I'm going to get some XP while I'm not playing. And that's the first thing that gives me a little bit of cause for concern. On one hand, having this offline farming will be absolutely awesome for players that don't have a lot of time to play every day, like myself. This might allow me, hopefully, to not fall that far behind other players. On the other hand, if this isn't balanced very closely, then this could allow people to hit max level on certain skills maybe faster than would make sense or would be reasonable. You know, if they just actively farmed for 8 hours a day and then passively train at the other 16 while they're offline. However, after a day of testing this and spending 19 hours offline combat grinding, I got the equivalent of about 100 enemies killed actively, so about an hour's worth of active playtime for about a whole day away. I do think this is a reasonable pace. Also, this could cause some real big upsets to the in-game economy, whatever that's going to look like in the future, by inflating the numbers of specific items available from these passive tasks. And another concern here would be something like botting, as this is a free-to-play game, and instead of really needing to program a bot to walk around and do tasks, you could just have an army of 100 accounts all logged off passively, gaining the material for you. Time will definitely tell whether or not this is a good or bad feature, but I'm really hoping for the best. The other thing that really isn't perfect right now is the UI. While it feels reminiscent of RuneScape, which is good for me, it still definitely feels like an early access game overall. Some of the menus feel larger than they're supposed to be, others feel a little bit smaller, and the fact that every single store I go to is just this black background doesn't really help me feel immersed in the world or differentiate between the vendors very well. And I would really love to be able to click the map to move my character to that location like you can in RuneScape. Sometimes it gets annoying needing to click a handful of times just to walk a short distance through a handful of in-game chunks. I actually wrote a whole section here critiquing the game for not using key bindings, but as of logging in on the second day, a bunch of intuitive key bindings were already added into the game. And that actually turns what would have been a negative in this section into a huge positive for me. That real meaningful changes are being made already and being made pretty quickly. And I hope to see more updates like this that just give general quality of life. So overall, I am going to keep playing Brighter Shores, and I really enjoy it, and it's giving me a lot of nostalgia. It is in early access, keep that in mind, and the gameplay isn't for everyone, so even though you might see mixed reviews online, just know that if you like grindy games, if you like things like RuneScape, you're going to have a good time here. I also have confidence that the quality of life downsides that I found will be addressed in the future, as they have with key bindings already, and the monetization scheme so far seems pretty fair to me. I'm having a ton of fun with the game, especially when I want to slow down, smell the roses, put a show on in the background, and just kill some goblins, when I'm not trying to go 100 miles an hour in retail World of Warcraft. So if you're open to a new experience, or if you're a RuneScape veteran looking for something similar, I hope to see you on Brighter Shores. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm curious about your opinions on the game so far, if you've tried it, and I hope this video has earned your subscription. Take care.